idea. But there's still a lot of good quarterbacks.
Who'd you get first? Who'd you get in the first round, Jeb? Good evening, everybody. What's going on?
We're back.
SEC After Dark. You already know what time it is. It's Wednesday night. It's the Wednesday night that you've all been waiting on. The pre-week 1 SEC After Dark. It's a full SEC slate, so we got a lot to talk about. I don't even know if we're going to make it off the rails today. I think our train's going to stay pretty well on the track. We've got our picks, so you can hedge everybody else's bets by avoiding mine, except for the ones we all unanimously agree on. Then you're just absolutely screwed. So want to also mention, before I say what's up to you guys, actually, you know what? Screw it. What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up? What's up?
Great.
What's
How are you?
up?
What's
What's
up?
up? I'm good. What's up? Hey, we got a game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jeb.
Yeah, wait.
That's right.
So
Missouri plays La Tech. Oh, wait. Tennessee plays too.
Oh.
Yeah, backyard brawl, right? No,
Ooh,
And,
backyard. That's right. So about midway
most
through the first
importantly-
quarter, we'll pay attention to
most
that.
importantly, Hillwood plays Pearl Cone tomorrow. That's the most important.
Very
Hillwood
exciting.
Hey.
plays Pearl Cone.
After
I'll be
what,
calling ball plays.
after what Marcel Reed did to Pearl Cone last week.
Oh, it was brutal, man.
It was.
Ooh, I've got that film. It was nasty.
The-
I watched every play of Marcel Reed because I had to study their defense. I was like, okay, this is just not fair. This is not right here.
that guy's a dude. He just is a dude.
Yes, he really is, man. I'm like, good lord, dude.
His
guy's-
dad's really nice. This is like a humble brag. Follows me on Twitter and like DMs me all the time. Like accolades for Marcel.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, he's pretty good. That's what I
You
hear.
know, we got a producer tonight, by the way.
Oh, we got
For the
a
first time,
producer.
Yeah,
All right.
she's not on the microphone this week. We're gonna get her set up on a microphone next week. So next
Oh,
week's
man.
SEC After Dark, the voice of God will be there from producer Becky.
Producer Becky. Well, we thank you, Becky. Best
Yeah,
producer in the
thank you.
business. Here we go. So, well, the other thing we're producing is Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, events, and with first to market odds and lines. You can find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. Maybe even at MLS if you want. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. So what you're going to do, you're going to head to BetOnline today or use that mobile device to join and make your first bet. Use our promo code Bleav50, that's BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Fellas,
Yeah. Wait, Georgia's a 17-point favorite over Oregon per Bet Online.
17 and a half. Yeah.
Ole Miss is 21.5. Alabama's like 41.5 over Utah State, and I don't know what Tennessee is, but I think it's like 33 or something.
I think it's 30. I think it was at 31 last I saw.
Yeah.
Minus 31 and a half. What's crazy is Ohio State 17 and a half over Notre Dame, and they're both projected into the playoff. That's what's crazy.
You know, I talked about that on my show. You have number 2 playing number 5, and you've got number 3 playing number 11, and neither line is less than 17 points.
It's
College
insane.
college football is broken. Just period.
Yep, it is. It is. I mean, it's just the discrepancy in talent there from 3 to 5, or from 2 to 5. I mean, come on, like it just means either A, your 5 is a fraud, or C, Ohio State is just going to be absolutely ridiculous this year, which both of those could be true at the same time.
Yeah, Notre Dame is probably going to get skull drugged by Ohio State. And it's not because of anything's gone. That's just where Notre Dame is. They don't have a quarterback. They're changing coaches. Yeah. I mean, they've got coordinators that are coming back, but
I love their head coach, though. I think he's going to be really, really good for them. But
maybe
is
not year
a-
one. Yeah.
This is not an ideal first game to welcome him in to Irish country. So
Speaking of Irish country, what does Nebraska or Northwestern have to do with Ireland?
Nothing.
didn't you know there's a lot of corn husking over there?
There's no corn over there.
Mm.
They
It's
probably
probably
still
corn
call
husk-
it. They probably still call it maize.
Now we're off the rails. That game was. Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute before we head into this week's action, because that and the Vandy game were the two highlights of week.
Go
0.
Doors.
Go Doors!
Anchor down.
Just repping the SEC in style with a 63-10 beatdown.
I told people on Twitter whenever Vandy got to 49, it's like, go wake your kids. This is like a Haley's Comet type moment for everybody to look at.
First time since 1948
Yeah.
scored more than 56 points in the contest.
Yeah, it's not in my
Yeah.
dad's lifetime, and my dad's not a spring chicken.
It is ridiculous.
I can't believe
Like,
I missed that.
My mom was 2 years old
Man,
the last time Vandy, and she's almost 80.
I was gonna say, I wasn't born.
Sorry, Mom, not to date you, but there you go. My dad was 1
okay.
the last time that happened with Vandy. So we learned a few things. Scott Frost can't coach in the United States, and he can't coach in Ireland apparently either. And we learned that Mike
losing records in 2 countries. That's hard to do in college football.
That's impressive. And we learned that Mike Wright is fast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Hawaii might be worse than we thought, but I don't care. UConn was one of the worst teams in college football history, and Vandy needed a last-second field goal to beat them. They did not 63 burger them last year. Vandy does not have to have any of this taken away from them. They deserve this.
UConn is much improved actually this year. They went down to the wire with Utah State, who's considered a favorite in the Mountain West Conference. So
And a 40-point underdog to Alabama.
Yeah. How does
that's
that?
hilarious. Yeah, I know, right?
Speaking of talent discrepancy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Alabama will pick that game a lot. What's funny is Alabama's definitely going to cover that for sure. But yeah, so the decision to onside kick it in the third quarter up 2 scores and then go into a complete shell was baffling.
Stupid.
Stupid.
It was very stupid.
Special ed.
Special teams. That's why they call it special teams.
It's not
Yeah.
called the game changer team for nothing.
Yeah.
And
Billy Napier's
and,
like, I bet my unit doesn't do this.
and honestly, I mean, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say
Yeah.
in Florida they actually call the special teams the game changer teams.
Yeah, because they have to get.
Seriously.
We had to look it up, Steve, because when he
Well,
made
no,
his
the game changer
hire-
coordinator, but he actually calls like the kicker, punter on the depth chart is listed as game changer team.
Yeah, we had to look up.
because that
We had
was
to look it
released
up.
today. Yeah,
Yeah, we had to look it up. We had to look it up when they hired the game changer coordinator, so it only fits that they would name their team the game changers. Yeah, you have to do stuff to spruce up your special teams. or
but
people won't join.
that onside kick was a game changer.
Yeah, for
Boom.
Northwestern.
Oh yeah, but it was.
Yeah, Northwestern's helmets look pretty cool though. I like the little Ireland flag decal they had.
I still have no idea what they had to do with them. And then somebody said, "Oh, they weren't supposed to be here. It was supposed to be Nebraska and Wisconsin." It's like, what?
It's even less Irish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you're
But
not helping
I-
yourself.
I would say that, Northwestern gave Nebraska plenty of opportunities there late in the fourth quarter because they ran it like 10 times in a row, and on third down, like 3rd and 8, they ran it and
They
Nebraska
could not
capitalize.
They cannot get into 4-minute drill. Yeah, they couldn't get into
they
4-minute
couldn't.
drill.
It was crazy.
You want to talk
And
about
Nebraska's
a
like,
defense
nope,
that
you take it.
a defense that's sharp and extra soft?
Yeah,
Nebraska.
Oh
that
my
was
Nebraska.
that was
Goodness. And that was in the
Yeah.
Big Ten. Can you imagine what Wisconsin is going to do to those guys?
Jimmy Leonard. The barge formation. One of my favorite formations. You get 8 offensive linemen in there. It's called the
Absolutely.
Barge.
8 offensive line. So are we thinking this will be
Seriously.
Scott Frost's last season?
I think
I
it's
would
his
say
last
so.
month.
Is he gonna make
might be his
to
last
the
month.
end of the season? Is he gonna make it to Labor Day? I don't know who they play, but is he gonna make it to Labor Day?
They played North Dakota, not the good one, but they're fairly good one.
Both of them are good.
Yeah. That's why I said fairly good one.
North Dakota was a playoff team last year.
All the Dakotas are really good. Even South Dakotas, the Coyotes, they're legit. They're
South
the ones that have the
Dakota
crazy
State.
Helmer. Yeah, the
Weren't
Jackrabbits.
weren't they in
Yeah.
the title game last year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
then
they're
you
my
have-
they're my Dakota team. Whenever the FCS playoffs are going on in December, you have to kind of pick a Dakota team. And the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, just because that's the most fantastic nickname in the history of nicknames.
Dude, FCS has the
fun.
greatest nicknames of all
They
time.
do.
The
Yeah.
Lumberjacks, the Jackrabbits, the Bison.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to join in on our I did my picks, Cassidy. I did them. I always do them late in style. It's I've done it ever since we started the show.
Yeah,
you wanna
but the
join in our
email
chat,
said have them done by Wednesday at 12:00.
rules. Rules.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I read the email either. But I had them done. 'Cause
I'm a teacher. I don't read emails.
I'm just,
So if you want to join in
I'm a
on the
team
chat,
player. I follow rules.
there
you,
you go.
you rule follower. Well, if you want to join in on the chat, make sure you subscribe to our
She
YouTube
does.
channel, and make sure you make a good comment, or Becky will fight you.
Yeah,
She'll kick your ass.
she's on the job today.
Sorry, locked on. So yeah, she is on the job, and you better bring it. Right?
We just need to be nice during picks. Right now, we can be
Yeah.
as crazy as we want to be. Just be nice during picks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of want to get to the point we have one of the beep buttons so she can just be bleeping us out. Be a
Kind of
little
like
bit
on
later.
kind of like on Round the Horn where he gets to mute somebody for like 5 seconds. She needs that.
Becky has the live beep.
Yeah.
Well, is our show just gonna be one loud beep?
Let me tell you how I feel about Florida. Beep.
Yeah.
So this
And then they
Tennessee
can
team is beep.
Yeah.
Well, that Tennessee team is beep.
Oh,
Every
by
other
the
word Steven
That's
says
not
will
okay.
be beep.
two things. Have y'all seen Lane Kiffin and Billy Napier's depth chart?
No.
Billy Napier
Lane
put an
Kiffin's a thing,
or
but I mean-
on every position.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow.
I did see Ole Miss.
on,
I saw one of
Butch.
your videos about it. And he had a lot of.
It's like
Come on,
37 oars on the depth chart. There's no there's or between fourth and fourth string at wide receiver. It was like, come
What's your
on,
depth
man.
chart?
If you do that though, by the way, you can't claim poor. You can't be depth poor come October whenever you need to do it. You've lost that excuse.
Oh yeah, Becky's like, I get to beep you. She's
That's
okay,
Cassie
kinda
said
follows.
that.
Oh, Cass. See, I can't see the top comment. I can't see who says it 'cause I can't see it until it goes down the list a little bit.
So why did you beep him? That wasn't a curse word. Oh, it's just his voice. It's just I have to beep his voice. I'm sorry.
It's like that Kimmel bit with the unnecessary censorship.
Yeah.
Y'all ever seen those? Those are hilarious.
It'd be
Just
beep after
beep
beep
random
after
words.
beep.
All right, let's get into this week. This is the first week of SEC games. Also, when we do picks, when we get to picks, do Tennessee and Missouri last because my video is going to be on Friday and those games are already going to happen. So I need to cut those out.
Gotcha.
Roger that, Captain. All right. So let's talk about these games. So what we're going to do, the format we're going to do, we're going to talk about these games, but we're going to hold our picks until later. How about that?
Yeah, that works.
Check.
Check. Roger that. So Tennessee Ball State is going to kick off the SEC slate. Jeb, I know you're excited. Hendon Hooker or Joe Milton, see what I did there, is going to start at quarterback, right?
I hope this game's a blowout and he plays so I get to use my joke again.
So did he or the quarterback position?
Not the
Billy
first
Napier?
one. Oh,
Billy
Billy
Napier?
Napier.
Did he or?
Yes, he did.
So not even Anthony Richardson is.
Yeah, it's Anthony Richardson and the kid from Ohio State, like Jack
Del Rio?
Wilson, Jack Wilson or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. God,
Yeah, but he actually did. Yeah.
What a goober. All right, so I know it's Ball State, but Jeb, what are you looking for with this Tennessee team here?
It's hard to say because I was talking about this a little bit a while ago that I really want to see how our defense is shaping up this year. The problem is when you're playing Ball State, I don't know what kind of real test they're going to get. So I mean, if they look bad, that's gonna worry me a lot. But if they look good, I don't know how excited I can get. I think they play Pitt next, and that'll be a much bigger test of the defense. But as far as the offense, I want to see if Brew McCoy is going to make the field and how he's going to look. I know Cedric Tillman's good. Who's going to be our third guy? I think Jalen Hyatt is the man right now. That's what it looks like, but we have some mores there too. So, and then who's playing left tackle is the other thing. We don't have a left tackle at the moment, which is a little worrisome.
I'm sure somebody will be there.
Well, there's a transfer from Florida, Gerald Mincey. I think he's going to take it, but we'll see.
Jeb, you ready?
Is that Hooker's blind side?
Yeah.
Left tackle?
Yeah. Right.
Hooker's a righty.
So you do need a good left tackle to protect your blind side. So that's a key position.
That's a place where we have an oar, so that worries me a little bit.
Something that's absolutely hilarious to me is Eddie Small, Jabari Small's dad.
But you don't have an oar.
Came on my show like in the next 7 days. And Jabari's like, why am I not playing, Dad? Why am I not doing as much as I thought? And he's like, do you want me to be your dad or do you want me to be real? And he's like, okay, be real, Dad. And he's like, you need to keep your ass on the field. And he's like, you need to quit coming out. And all of a sudden, after that, Jabari Small, he had that dog mentality, and all of a sudden he showed up on the field for the rest of the year and eventually became the guy. But it all came back to his dad saying, you gotta be back on the field, buddy. Because Eddie Small was talking about when he played for Billy Brewer, is like, hey, your arm is just dangling down. He's like, you're not coming out of the game.
Yeah.
No, that's what you got to do. And what I'm looking for Tennessee, obviously Jabari Small running really well. Obviously the question marks at left tackle and all that stuff, but just come in, put them away early, and try to get some playing time for some guys, and evaluate some down the line guys. I mean, they come out, they put it on them in the first half, cover the spread in the first half. I think it's a success. It's hard to gauge against a team like Ball State, but I think for this scenario, I think that's what you got to do. If it's tight in the fourth quarter, we're going to come back on here talking about, okay, what went wrong for Tennessee.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be close.
And the ultimate joke is, real quick, if you need Joe Milton to throw the ball 40 yards, he can throw the ball 40 yards. If you need Joe Milton to throw the ball 20 yards, he can throw the ball 40 yards.
But if we get fast enough guys under there. No.
But if you really need him to throw the ball, he'll just tuck it and run out of bounds.
Yeah.
He was the only person in the stadium that night that didn't want to throw something.
If you really need him to throw, he'll just
both Joe Milton jokes in one sitting. Thank you. We're officially back in football season.
All right, that's going to wrap us up tonight. We're glad you're with us.
Got everything I wanted to get in tonight. All
All right, let's go. All right, good night, fellas.
No, despite the fact that we had a transfer running back come in and make it all of like 2 weeks before transferring away, I like our running backs. Even the two freshmen are getting a lot of praise. So I feel like we're going to be all right at running back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you will. I think the nature of the offense will support, two running backs. It'll have to as fast as you guys play. So, but yeah, I'm just looking for good pace, good tempo. Hendon Hooker, get the business taken care of before halftime. Cover the spread and just keep them out of the spread.
And their whole thing is defensively, can they stop a nosebleed?
Yeah.
If they are better and improved defensively, they have a chance to be a decent team. And then we're talking about getting ready for that game on the third Saturday of October when Neyland is absolutely a zoo, because that's
Neyland.
That's
I got brutally corrected on TikTok. It's Neyland.
It is Neyland.
Neyland.
Yeah, I got roasted when we posted our stadium top 10 list back in like June.
Yeah,
roasted, man.
And
half of it was because we mispronounced Neyland.
Yeah. Did did you happen to say, it's like, I can say Samford, and I can, that's the one that I care about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you're butthurt about it.
Yeah.
It is like General Neyland, though. He's right. So.
Yeah.
General Neyland. Jeb's like, damn it. Just Neyland.
Didn't give him a point in 1939.
You respect General Neyland, boy.
I feel like I'm doing a good job letting it go.
Yeah. You take that name out of your mouth, boy.
It's Neyland, not Neyland. What are you doing?
I will take you to one of those special rooms out in East Tennessee, and we'll handle this.
Wait, is that Coach O? No.
No, he's the one that talks about in the swamp. It would be real similar to the room in East Tennessee, but it's a swamp in Louisiana.
Yeah, there you go. So, but that's Tennessee. They're 34.5-point favorites. I think you could probably figure out where we're going to go with that. So let's move on. Mizzou hosts Louisiana Tech. Mizzou is 19.5-point favorites. This might be one of the few wins that the Tigers from Columbia, Missouri can pull. Louisiana Tech, although they were division champs, I think they won the conference last year under Skip Holtz. They've got new leadership with Sonny Cumbie. They're projected to finish towards the bottom of a dying conference, which is pretty sad, really. But how do we see this game shaking out?
If you look at it, I see Missouri doing quite well. But, Louisiana Tech was in the Sun Belt, and on their way out of the Sun Belt, they completely big-timed them and started to act like they were too good to be in the Sun Belt and everything. Mm-hmm. And now that Conference USA is falling apart and everybody's going to the Sun Belt, they can't get back in.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They burnt that bridge.
The Sun Belt's like they're driving by slowly with the middle finger out the window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Louisiana Tech, Middle Tennessee, and Western Kentucky are all kind of in the same boat.
MTSU is. Are they CUSA still? No, MTSU's.
No, they didn't go to the Sun Belt. Southern Miss, Marshall, Old Dominion, and James Madison are the Sun Belt teams.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Fun Belt.
We did this. We did the Fun Belt preview on Illegal Motion, but there's so many new teams that they all run together at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to. One of the things I want to do this season is introduce my wife to Coastal Carolina.
That would be fun. That's a fun team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You will get hooked with Jamie Chadwell.
Yeah, they're fun to watch.
Yeah. So the series record. Well, there is no series record in this series because this is their first meeting. The key matchup here, Missouri is breaking in its fifth starting quarterback in 5 years. They've gone with Brady Cook. And they have freshman Luther Burden, who he's the number one receiver prospect in the country last season. They'll be going against a pass defense that's quietly among the best in Conference USA last year.
That's a valedictorian summer school reference.
Yeah, exactly right. And they have the top guy, the player to watch on Louisiana Tech's defense is B.J. Williamson. So Missouri, how are they going to replace Tyler Batty?
They're not.
They're not.
they're just not.
Yeah. They're just not. So they're going to try. They're going to try to do it with Elijah Young, Cody Schrader, and Nathaniel Pete.
They're completely, and it's absolutely fitting, they're in show me mode. I am nervous about making any predictions about this Missouri team until I see them at least once.
Yeah. Well, they have 50 new players, 31 freshmen, 19 transfers. So Eli Drinkwitz has his work cut out for him trying to put this new team together. So I don't envy it. And also in Illegal Motion, we did the SEC preview. I represented the best conference in the country, and I said one of our superlatives was first coach fired, and Eli Drinkwitz was my vote.
I think first coach fires down on the Plains at the moment. They're trying to figure out a way to get those knives sharpened to handle him as we speak.
I mean,
I just think it's going to be a matter of what time they get the paperwork in at this point.
I mean, I mean, Auburn named T.J. Finley their starting quarterback. I mean, they're desperate.
The only thing worse would be Tennessee naming Joe Milton. Sorry, Jeb. Sorry.
Not happening.
Too soon.
Not happening.
Steve, too soon. Okay, too soon. You better apologize right now. Apologize.
Laura, I apologize.
I apologize for making fun of Joe Milton for throwing the ball 40 yards when he should only be throwing 20 yards. Please forgive me, Jeb.
Oh, hell, just throw it instead of running it.
He can throw it out of kneeling. Unfortunately, he can't throw it in it.
Yeah.
These jokes just keep on coming, and I'm here for it. We need to find some TJ Finley stunt driver jokes on his moped.
No, I mean
a scooter, whatever you call that thing.
I mean that would be his next career because he ain't got one in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. For my picks, I have 1 Bama, 2 Dogs to beat the Ducks. Hotty toddy, and sorry, Jeb. Last but not least, Tennessee to win.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. She's picking Tennessee money line. Because she ain't sure if they're going to cover.
That is a lot of points. Ole Miss is favored by 21.5, and you just sit there and think about it.
Troy's got pretty good defense, but
but it's like 23.5 or something like that, and it's like 40 to 17 doesn't cover or something like that.
Yeah, some of these spreads are a little
yeah,
high.
and
if Ole Miss's defense has improved since last year, they'll cover it. I do believe.
Yeah, I think so because the offensive coordinator at Troy is Joe Craddock. So it's a lot of the stuff that UAB did last year mixed in with the Chad Morris experience.
Oh boy!
And
Yeah.
So I'm not overly worried about
that. You never want that.
I said on my show, I don't expect Ole Miss to come out like on fire. I think it's slow starts in the offering. Ole Miss might win the game by 17 points, but Troy's going to play slow. They're going to run the ball. It's going to be ground and pound stuff. They're going to shorten the game, and Ole Miss might not cover. Although I'm probably going to pick Ole Miss to cover just because look behind me. But
Kentucky shortened the game against Tennessee, and you saw how that worked out. So
yeah,
it's possible.
Kentucky with 46 minutes of time of possession, and they lost.
That is still crazy.
They lost bad. They didn't just lose; they got.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Liam Cohen should not have got an NFL job after that game. And he's like, I didn't coach defense. It wasn't on me. It's like, no, I'm sorry. You can't have the ball for 46 minutes and lose.
Well, he's only the co-coordinator because we all know Sean McVay is the actual coordinator of that offense in Los Angeles. So, of the games, we're not going to waste your time previewing because they're no line. It's Vandy hosting Elon, Auburn hosting Mercer, A&M hosting Sam Houston State. I'm hoping Sam Houston State, Mercer, and Elon have good showings because that would just be fun. Mercer from the great state of Georgia. That would be so poetic if a team from Georgia beat Auburn because they can't seem to beat anybody from Georgia. Sam Houston State was a deep run playoff team in the FCS last year, so that'll be a fun matchup. It'll be some exciting offense, and Texas 8-4 will. They named Haynes King as the starting quarterback.
Yeah, Auburn doesn't fare well against anybody in state in Georgia.
Right. Not what I just said.
Yeah, I mean they have trouble with Georgia. They have trouble, and they're going to. I wouldn't be surprised if they had trouble with Mercer, but I bet they'd have trouble even with Georgia Tech.
I mean, I was going to say if there was, I wish there was a line on that game just for the fact like 34.5 or something like that. Because I would probably take Mercer in that situation because I don't think Auburn, as much turmoil is going on down there.
You got to have a little faith in your team, Jake. All right.
That ain't my team. Trust me.
You know TJ Finley. I figured him out. By the way, TJ Finley is Jameis Winston without the clutch gene.
Or the crab stealing.
All right. Oh well.
That was a perfect chain jiggle, key jiggle.
Mm-hmm.
The timing on that was impeccable. By the way, yeah, you're exactly right. So, it's going to be a boring game nonetheless. All right, so let's go. Let's go to Steve, your favorite team, Mississippi State. They're 15.5-point favorites. The Pirate is hosting the Tigers of Memphis. What are we? I mean, I know what our pick's probably going to be, but what are we looking for in this game? What are we looking for from the Pirate here in this season debut?
Explosiveness. You want to see Mississippi State be explosive offensively. That's the reason you hire Mike Leach. It is now time. You have experience all over the field. You need to come through. You need to cover this line against Memphis.
Yes, yeah. I'm in total agreement with you. Will Rogers needs to have a huge day. They need to be lighting up the scoreboard. I'd like to see the run game percentage uptick to about 30% instead of 25%.
Just a
I
little
think
bit.
that'll help Mississippi State. Defensively, I would love to see them get pressure with their front four. I'd love to see them get pressure and be a force, be a dominant force that they were against Auburn with their front seven, getting pressure and getting creative with their pressures. Because really, what do they have to lose? They have to play an aggressive style of defense because their offense is going to lend that, because their offense is going to be not taking that much time away every time they have the ball, unless either they're going to score quick or they're going to go quickly 3 and out. Either way, I think their defense is going to be on the field a lot this season. So they're going to have to get creative and try to create turnovers, and the only way to do that is high risk, high reward type defense. So I'd like to kind of see what they do. They did it against Auburn. It worked beautifully.
I don't know. Like, Memphis has a new defensive coordinator because Mike McIntyre is down at FIU. But I don't know if the new guy is going to try and play man defense. And playing man defense against Mike Leach.
I hope he does, because I want to see Mike Leach put on a freaking clinic.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
Anytime he sees man defense, it's like, okay, let's go. It's 2003. Let's roll it back. So we'll see. Whoever this new guy is, we'll find out how cocky he is.
Yeah, and maybe Mike Leach at some point over the offseason figured out how to play the drop eight, because that's all he's going to get. Moving on. Yeah. Moving right along. All right, so the name of the team that's on Jake's shirt is 41.5-point favorites. They host potential Mountain West champion Utah State, which I picked Fresno State to win the conference personally. But Utah State is definitely a contender out there in the Mountain West. Not much to show against Alabama. I think Will Anderson may score 41.5 by himself on sack fumbles. I don't know. I fear that he's going to hurt somebody badly in this game. Utah State, I don't think they have anybody to block him or Dallas Turner or anybody on that defense. It's just, this is going to be bloodshed. So Jake, I'm going to turn it over to you to have this game be considered a success, even if Alabama doesn't cover, which is very much possible. What would you need to see to walk away and go, okay, we're ready for who do y'all play week 2? We're ready for Texas.
Well, we need to see the defense, especially the defensive line. I mean, there's talent all over the field on the defensive side, but there's not one-star player on the defensive front. And the depth chart, we have actually moved Tim Smith out to defensive end this year. So he's on the defensive end. Otis was named co-starter at nose guard. That's huge, because I think he's going to be a really, really good player, really great player, So, but needless to the defense, not have any kind of like mental errors, because that was a big thing about Alabama last year, was defensively had a lot of miscues. Can't have that, especially against a team like Utah State. On the offensive side of the ball, just see Bryce get in the rhythm with his new receivers. Freshman Kobe Prentice has actually won the slot position out there at wide receiver, so it'd be interesting to see him, and Jahmyr Gibbs, of course, if he gets going early, and I believe he will, because I mean that Utah State team had trouble with that UConn running back last week, so they're going to have to tighten up if they want to stop Jahmyr Gibbs, because that's a different animal for sure.
I don't. It's not going to happen this week. Utah State doesn't have the boys to do it, but somebody somewhere is going to just blitz Alabama's offense until Alabama proves that deep they can be taken care of deep. Jamison Williams isn't on this team anymore. He was their deep guy last year.
And Harold, the transfer, is not the guy.
Yeah, and Jahmyr Gibbs, if you blitz, he has to stay in and pass protect. So you can eliminate his special ability by blitzing as well. Who is going to be the first team to blitz them? It's still several weeks away, probably.
Vandy.
Maybe Arkansas.
Vandy's coming after you.
Don't sleep on Vandy. But it will be interesting.
Yeah, comment off your point, Steve. I said we did a Todd Talk Live Monday night previewing the game, and one of the things I said was, later on in the season, I need to see this offensive line gel, because there are going to be teams that's going to blitz at least 6 people, and if the offensive line can hold those 6 people, it's going to be hard, but if they can hold those 6 people, then that allows Jahmyr Gibbs to get out and be a threat in the passing game. So as the offensive line going to jail, we do have 3 new starters, so we'll see how it goes.
Hey, Jake, Becky just asked a question. She wants to know, with Saban extending his contract again, is there any point that you don't want that to happen anymore?
He's the GOAT. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, no, that's not his point. I'm talking about like Bobby Bowden was the GOAT at one time too, and Bobby Bowden stayed about 5 years too long. At what point is it a little bit too long?
I mean, he's still coaching at a high level. And now, if after this year's team, because Bryce is going to be gone, Will Anderson's going to be gone, you will have Dallas Turner back. Next year's team may be a little transition. So we may win 10 games next year. That might be his downfall. Who knows?
Yeah, but right now, just having him there is instant recruiting of all the top talent in the nation. I mean, he just does it on his name. He doesn't really have to try that hard. I mean, I'm sure he does try real hard. He's
70 and he's running around there like he's 50. So he's still got a lot in the tank.
Yeah.
For the first time since Cam Newton, or maybe Nick Marshall, next year, Ole Miss is going to be a legit contender for the SEC West next year.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I'm not just saying that because of what's on the wall behind me. I'm saying about the people that is coming back. I mean, Zach Evans could choose to come back. He'll have another year. Seriously. But once that happens, ideally Jackson Dart would play well, and by the time we play Bama this year, that would almost be like almost a scout team for 2023.
Right.
If Ole Miss can do 8-4, 9-3 this year, and then springboard into next season,
so Steve, why don't you think Ole Miss can be a legit contender now?
I think they're too new. I think experience is going to get them a little bit. There's lessons that they need to learn together.
I'm buying some of these playmakers you guys have. Zach Evans erases a lot of that. Michael Trigg, when healthy, erases a lot of that. I think Jackson Dart is going to erase a a lot of that. And there's going to be some problems.
Yeah.
So?
It's like Matt Corral in 2020. That's what we're looking at in the quarterback position. There are going to be games where Jackson Dart looks spectacular. There's going to be games that he's going to throw up 6 interceptions against Arkansas. And then in 2021, if he does like Matt Corral and he's on that same growth path, all of a sudden that gets cleaned up, and next thing you know, Ole Miss is in the Sugar Bowl again.
I think 2 through 7 is about as tight as you can get. There's about 5 teams that would not shock me if they finish second in the West.
Well, let me say about next year, Steve. Alabama loses a lot on defense next year too. You got to remember that. I mean, Jordan Battle's gone, Will Anderson's gone, Dallas Turner is returning, but you're also losing DeMarco Hellens, Brian Branch potentially can leave. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of people in the secondary that's going to be gone. So I mean, maybe not this year, but next year, Alabama's really going to be exposed defensively potentially.
Yeah, it's one of those years where if you just like looked at a calendar and looked at what's going on, it's like, when is Saban going to walk away? That's when you would guess, because the team's going to have to work a little bit. Maybe he wants to do one more rebuild, or one actual rebuild, I should say.
If Alabama wins the title,
10 years.
Jake, do you think he walks after this year if Alabama wins it?
I don't know.
Not-
I don't know what Saban's thinking.
Just kidding.
I mean, so
I mean, I don't think he will.
I can tell you what Saban's thinking. If you want to know what Saban's thinking, he's thinking ball.
yeah,
Ball.
that's all he's talking. That's all he's
Terry.
thinking about.
Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The only time he doesn't think about football is when Miss Terry's talking to him.
That's right.
I gotta concentrate on Miss Terry. Miss Terry. Yes, ma'am. All right. Ball. Okay. Recruit. Ball. Ball. The process. Media. The process. Ball.
And he's
All right.
already led into our media this
Go to-
year already.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
to bed.
Yeah.
And by the way, I do think kinder, gentler Nick Saban is because Bill O'Brien's an asshole. I think I think that is why he's doing that, is because Bill O'Brien is so unlikable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's another thing. How's that going to turn out this year?
Bill O'Brien, next
makes
coach in
it hard to
Nebraska.
root for Bama.
I'm fine with
Jake
that.
could only hope.
Yeah.
We take Pete Golden with him.
Nah,
so
I'm
he
fine
can-
with Pete.
So he can hammer some. So he can hammer some Nebraska cheerleaders instead of Alabama ones.
Oh my God.
I know it was a GA that looked just like him, but
It was
You know
a
he's hammering
striking
Alabama
resemblance
cheerleaders.
for sure.
Yeah, seriously. GA needs to be blood tested.
they're long lost brothers.
Yeah.
Brothers. So there's Bama. All right. South Carolina is not playing Eastern Illinois, like Shane Beamer reminded everybody in the media in his latest press conference. They are playing, in fact, Georgia State, and they are a really good football team. They are they're looking to make some noise in the Fun Belt. So South Carolina comes in only 12.5-point favorites over Georgia State. Concerning? You got Spencer Rattler at quarterback. What are we looking for from South Carolina?
Spencer Rattler's in show me mode.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the benefit of the doubt after what he did at Oklahoma last year.
Yeah, he kind of felt the job slipping, and he just gave up. And you could see it against Kansas, you could see it against Texas, you could see it. I mean, anytime they tried to put him in, it was just kind of a waste.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's changed. I don't know, but probably not.
I don't know. He seemed to be getting a lot of love this offseason. I didn't really get it.
He has.
I guess.
Well, he's
Yeah.
got a lot of natural talent.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
he got a lot of love last year too. Remember, he was the favorite for the Heisman before the season.
Yeah.
That's true.
But how many times
He
has
has a few good games, and
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh my God, this guy's awesome."
Yeah,
But
people
they
have
don't,
to
they
defend
don't
their
see
takes.
the intangibles. They don't see the intangibles that he lacks.
Well, the thing
leadership.
about it is he struggled against the Big 12 defenses. He's definitely going to struggle against SEC defenses, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, Kurt, God only knows what Kirby Smart's going to do to him. God only knows what Billy Napier's game changer coordinator is going to do to him.
Josh Heupel, what?
Josh,
Wait, no, we're talking about defense. And leave Tennessee out.
Pitt Boss is coming in next week.
See nothing.
Yeah.
Pit Boss is coming in next week from Pig Suey. That's going to be brutal.
You know what? This is funny. Baylor had success, and Iowa State beat Oklahoma with Spencer Rattler as a quarterback. He obviously had trouble with the drop 8, which Arkansas is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've studied that 3 safety defense a little bit more, and since Steve, you and I did that segment, I got a little bit better understanding of kind of what creatively you can do with the 3 safety defense. Oof. Oh God, I don't envy quarterbacks trying to read that at the college level. I'm just like, God.
And
that
then
defense
you
is tough.
Then you take like Ole Miss running it, and they have six defensive backs, and all 6 of them can play each other's position.
Yeah,
So
you got all 6 of them could be like a boundary linebacker. All 6 of them could be a free safety and everything in between.
You have no idea. You can't get a pre-snap read at all.
Isheem Young might decapitate somebody, by the way, just so you know.
He's starting at strong safety. That's where Otis Reese played last year.
Otis, my man Reese.
Yeah.
Dude, Steve, you're killing me here with this lack of believing in. I believe in Ole Miss more than you do at this point. It's
I just want them to show me. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'll show you. I think they'll show you. They'll be pretty explosive on offense. Jackson Dart's a pretty damn good quarterback.
Do you think that they're good enough to beat Bama?
By week 10, maybe.
By week 10, they're good enough to give Bama hell. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about containing Will Anderson because nobody's done
nobody
that
can.
Ole Miss is going to run 15 screens that night. They're going to throw to Zach Evans and Ulysses Bentley, and they're just going to let Will Anderson run to the quarterback completely unabated and then just throw it over his head.
Yeah, Will Anderson ain't going to that. Will Anderson's going to turn around and pick that thing off. That's how good he is.
He's a man, but yeah.
We could insert Will Anderson for some Chuck Norris jokes here at this point.
Actually, in that game, I'm more concerned with Dallas Turner than Will Anderson, believe it or not.
Yeah,
everybody's game planning for Will Anderson.
Yeah, because everything, they're just going to circle Will Anderson. They're going to double team everything, and Dallas Turner's going to be on the other side. It's like, hey, make sure he gets blocked too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy. Miami of Ohio at Kentucky. Go ahead.
Kentucky.
Go ahead, Jake. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say.
It's just one of those games where you hope Kentucky covers and go. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Jake.
I was just going to say, I actually said on our show a couple months ago that I really think that Dallas Turner could lead the team in sacks this year because Will Anderson will be double teamed a bunch. He'll still get his, but you go after Will Anderson, Dallas Turner is also a threat getting the quarterback.
And the development of Jaheim Otis is going to help them both.
Absolutely. Yep. So.
Yep, that's just scary to think about. All right. Yeah. So, Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, they're scary good. Utah State, prayers up. Kentucky, if they cover the spread, we're happy, right? Here's an intriguing matchup that I want to talk about. We're now starting to get into our more intriguing matchups. Arkansas hosts Cincinnati. Now Cincinnati is supposed to be coming back, returning as the best Group of 5 team. They're going to be challenged within their own conference, the American Conference, by Houston, I think, this year. But since he comes back, obviously replacing Desmond Ridder and Sauce Gardner, two draft picks, Sauce being a top 5, and Desmond Ridder going third round. I think
he was second
to the Falcons, who's actually looked pretty good in preseason matchups. He might
good for y'all.
He might just
he'll be another valedictorian summer school argument.
Yeah. He will be the Falcons starting quarterback by week 8. Let's just throw that out there.
Don't believe in Marcus.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but so Arkansas hosting Cincinnati. They're only 6-point favorites. They're at home. It's going to be a raucous environment. Pittman, one of the greatest quotes of all time. He goes, "Yeah, you got to, you really just got to see what they bring to the party, because some people bring iced tea, some people bring liquor. You really just got to see what they bring to the party."
I know what he's bringing.
So I was like, Pit Boss is bringing some liquor and some cigars. This is going to be a bloodbath.
And a jukebox.
I think. And he's bringing a jukebox. Yeah, he's going to say, play a damn jukebox. But I'm excited. I'm curious to know. And obviously, offensively, KJ Jefferson is one of the top quarterbacks in this league. But how do you replace Treylon Burks?
It'd be tough.
You don't.
I think. Or how do they? Or who is going to replace that production? Is it Jadon Hazelwood? Do you trust him? I don't necessarily trust him.
But
I think he's talented. I just don't trust him to be. It's going to be more of a committee approach, or it's going to be somebody that none of us expected.
I think it's going to be a line of scrimmage game, and while this offense answers questions on the outside, they're going to have a 250-pound quarterback and a 230-pound running back just completely mowing down a team that might have been in the playoff last year, but let's be honest. If they'd have played in the SEC or the Big Ten, they would not have been there. And I think Arkansas is actually going to roll fairly easily in this game because of that offensive line. Now, Arkansas has some questions on the D-line, but on the O-line, I think they're going to be able to mash a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's It's gonna be that, and I think they're gonna give themselves opportunities to find those playmakers on the outside because their run game's gonna open up so many opportunities. And I know Sam Pittman's got to be excited about that.
Yep.
Dynamite drop in, Jake.
Producer Becky said, "I hope you're right, Corey. I think we got our
we got
our own way last year by not really believing we can do it."
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, you got some nagging injuries kind of jump in too.
Yeah.
Ole Miss got bit by the injury bug pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Everybody talks about Matt Corral, and everybody loves Matt Corral, and they should.
There's other injuries that kind of derailed you a little bit.
Yeah, but whenever he got hurt for Carolina, you're like, was anybody actually really surprised?
Yeah.
Matt Corral, poor guys.
Yeah,
his career probably
kind of snake bit a little bit.
Yep.
It gets down into like the 70s sometimes. We might have hit like 65 last year at some point in the winter. I don't know.
I'm fine with that year
feet
round.
of snow at one point.
Yeah.
I was in feet of snow at one point. Don't you miss that, Steve?
Not even a little bit. We have 9 months of 65, 70 degrees.
That is so nice.
Yeah.
That has to suck.
Oh yeah.
Corey, man, you have humidity.
Yeah, we have 3 months of just awful.
Yeah.
But we have 9 months of just perfect weather.
Although,
I remember one year we had a heat advisory in October.
Oh yeah.
We had to call practice one day in October.
That's
I remember this. It was ACT day. It was right before fall break. It was October. We were getting ready to play Glencliff. Steve, I don't think you had moved yet. Do you remember the story where Glencliff almost had to cancel their season because they didn't have enough players?
No, I don't remember that.
So they had to. This is some Tennessee high school football shinfo for all you other listeners out there wondering who the hell I'm talking about. But there was a team in Metro Nashville Public Schools, Glencliff, that had to almost cancel their season. I think it was back in the 2019 season, and they almost had to cancel their season. We had ACT that day. I had a stomach virus, so I was like severely dehydrated, but I still went out to practice, and I about died. The practice time temperature was 100 degrees. It was October the 3rd.
Believe it or not, I do remember that whenever that heat wave hit, because that was after my surgery, and at that I was 2 months after I was 2 months after the surgery, learning how to walk, so I'm having to be out in there doing a decent walk, and I just remember the sweat pouring.
I remember I was coaching the offensive line at this point, along with being the offensive coordinator, and my linemen were dumping entire water bottles on top of me, just so that they could cool my body down. They said, "Look, Coach, I appreciate you being here. Please go home.
Yeah.
Just go home. We appreciate you trying. We really do. But just go home. You're sick. You can barely stand up."
All right. What do we have? What games do we have left? Oregon,
All
Georgia.
right, we've got Oregon,
Florida,
Georgia,
right?
Florida, Utah, and we've got
LSU.
Florida State, LSU. So let's go Florida State, LSU. This is an intriguing matchup. You got the family hosting. Well, they're kind of hosting. I'll say hosting because it's still in New Orleans, which is not.
Yeah, it's kind of like Georgia is playing a neutral site game too.
Yeah, it's neutral, all right. Hosting the Seminoles in the Superdome, and probably the greatest highlight of Florida State season so far is that clip, Jake, you sent us in the Twitter feed. I think you know which one it was.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go
Oh
too
my
far off
God.
the rails here, but
I think I'm
so
sure y'all see
LSU.
it.
So what are we thinking? Like Florida State played Duquesne. It's just like a elevated team session in practice, team period in practice, playing against Duquesne. They did get to work a few kinks out, but is that going to be enough? Is Jordan Travis enough to compete against that LSU defense? Does Florida State have the bullets in the gun finally?
But LSU's got a similar situation because
Right.
we know what LSU is supposed to be, and whenever they're firing on all their cylinders, we know what they are. But that's not the LSU we saw last year. We saw an LSU team that was really struggling. We saw Florida State this past weekend with Trey Benson. Trey Benson looked like the second coming of Herschel Walker out there.
He really did.
And I'm really interested. I think LSU and Brian Kelly is going to super over prepare. That's their thing. I think they probably have a chance to win, but there's a reason this is a 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I to me, I think LSU. I think the difference is going to be up front. I think LSU is a little bit more talented up front, which anytime you look at SEC versus other conferences, that's kind of where the line is drawn. Because the skill guys, it's a wash because skill guys are skill guys. You got talent at FSU, you got talent at Duquesne, you got talent at Mercer, you got talent at Florida State, you got talent everywhere. Skill guy wise, I mean, you can find, those guys are,
You see the guy on the sideline for Duquesne
yeah.
with his pants up to his shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, it was actually it was actually a shirt, but
Yeah.
it just looked hilarious. Like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Like, you can't do that. You're not helping yourself. It just lined up so perfectly to make it look like it was his pants.
Yeah, it was perfect. Oh.
But I think it's going to be a good game. I'm glad it's on Sunday. I'll enjoy watching it. But I mean, it definitely is further down the list than you'd have ever thought an LSU Florida State would have been in 2000.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, I know, right? And
There's a toss-up.
LSU, a lot of their problems last year was just the absolute turmoil that program was in with Ed O, and just all the shit storm that was around it. To be
there goes the clean rating.
We got rid of that like way long ago. So I hope they don't look at the rating first before they listen to our pick segment because, we ruined that a long time ago. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a more even matchup than people are thinking. But like I said, I think when you look at the battles up front, that's what you're going to see. But I think Benson's going to have another great game for Florida State. A lot of my family are Florida State people, so I'm kind of leaning that way, rooting wise. But I just, in my heart of hearts, I think LSU is going to win this.
I think Kelly will have them ready. Florida State, I kind of feel bad for. They've been going through the long rebuilding process that I kind of understand.
They just can't find the right guy.
Yeah, no,
and they're a
fan, I understand.
They're a program that doesn't make a ton of money either, so they have a hard time, and they're paying Jimbo still. They just have a hard time making money. Their facilities are behind.
Do you remember what rivals were like, Corey? Were you there whenever Jen Sturger came to Rivals and they just completely rolled out the red carpet just because somebody was pretty on TV once?
Oh yeah, she had her little booty shorts and her she was barely wearing any clothes. Let's be honest. And Rivals treating her like a celebrity.
Yeah.
She had a celebrity career because she was on TV doing the Seminole chop with next to nothing on. Shows you kind of where we were with the Maxim culture at that point.
Wasn't she one of the ones that Brett Favre seen?
Yeah, she was working for the Jets at that point.
Yeah, for the Jets.
Brett sent a picture of little Brett.
I was going to say Brent Musburger ever see her?
Probably. I think that's why we saw her. I think they just kept showing her. ABC was like, okay, yeah, keep the camera on her.
Yeah.
She even went as far as dating one of the Maxim radio hosts. Like, they had Maxim radio back then.
Wow. I missed that.
And she dated one of the hosts.
I did not know that you were going to be the Wikipedia page on this one, Corey.
It just happened to be it just happened to be something I'd latched onto. I guess I kind of followed that twist and turn there.
I just remember like Shannon Terry following her around Rivals, like she's some kind of sports personality. That, like, come on, man.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Bill King interviewed her on Rivals Radio?
Yeah, now I'll say.
Well, Jen Sturger, well, don't you know?
Hello, Louisville Cardinal fans.
Hey, Louisville Cardinal fans. I'm totally reading a script to get you to subscribe to the Louisville Cardinal Rivals site. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let's go. We've been doing this for an hour. We have to get to picks.
Okay, we can get to picks. All right, we'll talk. All right, we'll give a little extended Georgia-Oregon preview. If you want the extended version, Israel and I did that, recorded that on Sunday. It is live and available on YouTube and our podcast channel. Florida and Utah. I've got them picked to win the Pac-12. This is gonna be about as physical of a game as Florida's gonna get. How do you guys see this one? We're not yet in the pick, so let's just kind of talk about what are we expecting from the game changers and Anthony Richardson or the other guy.
Yeah, I just wonder if Florida will be ready for it. Just with everything they've got going on, all the changes that have happened, are they going to be prepared for a game of this caliber? You know, I mean, if this was a cupcake, yeah, but
Utah ain't the same.
Utah's tough to open up with.
Utah's been preparing for this game by turning on the heat in their IPF, and I was like, that's not humidity. That's not.
Yeah.
You guys
Here's
are
somebody
melt.
spraying you with a hose this hot.
But at the end of the day, they are 2.5-point favorites at the Swamp.
That's actually
at the
surprising.
Swamp. Like, not in a million years would I'd seen a Pac-12 team, one that joined the Pac-12 from the Mountain West not that long ago, being a 2.5-point favorite in the Swamp.
That's recency bias because they played Ohio State without Ohio State's main wide receivers playing fairly well.
Smith and Jigba had a huge game.
But they also, Marvin Harrison Jr., there's a couple of guys that opted out. But in that situation, I don't think that Utah is going to necessarily really scare Florida. Utah has to show me. They looked all right, but
Florida has to show me too.
Yeah, but this is going to be a different animal. Billy Napier is going to have his team ready to go,
or he's not.
But this isn't Dan Mullen.
There
wasn't this whenever he was at University of Louisiana.
The Gators.
University of Louisiana did not show up.
But they're going to show up. But I mean,
but I think they're talented enough. You don't hear things like, "Hey, Florida has offensive and defensive line deficiencies." You don't hear that. You just hear that Dan Mullen was an idiot.
They have a quarterback deficiency. The problem.
Yeah, I think the kid from Ohio State's eventually going to be the quarterback for Florida. That's my hot take for this one.
Probably so.
I think Anthony Richardson is going to be like a Joe Milton thing that
I think that's the problem for Florida. They have an or situation at the quarterback position, and you can't have an or situation at the quarterback position and have Utah as your first game.
Yeah.
Kyle Whittingham's a great coach.
Yeah, Florida's not careful. They're looking at 1-3.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I mean, this is why Utah's the favorite. It's not a recency bias. This is why they're the favorites. They won handily in the Pac-12 championship. They gave Ohio State, who is an odds-on favorite to win the national championship this year, all that they could handle up front. That was a line of scrimmage. That Utah won. Utah gave themselves a chance at the line of scrimmage. Let's be real about that.
But that was last year.
Technically, no, it wasn't.
but I mean, these aren't the same. Yeah, it's not the same teams. The team that played in the Rose Bowl is not going to the Swamp, other than the logos on the helmets. Although I saw a fire sale by the Utah athletic department, so they may have whole new uniforms too, and they could look all different. But I think Utah is going to be good. I just don't know if they're going to be at a point where everybody thinks they're going to be. They're assuming they're a top 5 team for whatever reason.
I think if this game happens in 4 weeks later, we're probably saying a different tune. But I think, Kyle Whittingham's going to have them ready to play. Mm-hmm. The battle's going to, they're a physical team. They've got experience coming back at quarterback. They've got a great running back who's probably going to be who's many people's favorite to be Pac-12 MVP on the offensive side of the ball. They have some talent coming back defensively. The scheme is always good. They're going to be ready. Florida's got an Orr situation at quarterback. I mean, it just all lines up for the Utes right now.
Yeah, Kyle Whittingham is established.
Whether I hate
Utah.
Florida or not, it just is what it is.
Billy Napier is coming into a new program where he's got to get his kids in and buy into that system. So,
also look out for Trevor.
He won't have any
Etienne.
problem with that.
I'm a big fan of Trevor Etienne.
Etienne,
Yeah. I'm gonna call him Etienne.
Etienne,
just like I did his brother.
Gotcha. All right, so you know what time it is?
Picks.
It's time for
Picks.
the SEC After Darks picks. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Up first, we're going to start with Arkansas hosting Cincinnati. Arkansas favored by 6 points. Steve, I'll start with you. Who are you picking?
Unbelievably offensive line dominant Arkansas team, 250-pound quarterback, 230-pound running back. I'm taking the Hogs in Fayetteville to roll.
Yeah, it's a line of scrimmage battle for me. It's going to be Arkansas in a freaking tidal wave.
Mm-hmm.
Jeb?
Yeah, I agree. I think replacing Treylon Burks is easier than replacing Desmond Ritter. So Arkansas is going to run away with this one.
Jake?
Yeah. Arkansas is going to win by 17.
And when Becky gets the voice of God microphone, she'll make her picks, but I'll make them for her today. She picks Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Steve, Ole Miss host Troy University. They are 21.5-point favorites. They have an Orr situation at quarterback, even though we all know who that starter is. How do you see this one shaking out?
I think there's a chance that Ole Miss could go off on a slow start. I think it's a chance that Troy is going to try and slow the game down to where if you told me it was a 31-17 type game, I'd believe you. But I think Ole Miss covers this line fairly easily and starts to roll a little bit on their way to big boy football on October 1st when Kentucky rolls into town. Man, I never thought I'd say that. So,
I think Ole Miss, after about the third series, you're going to be scratching your head. But then that fourth series, they're going to crank it up and they're going to get it going. And I think they cover this thing by halftime. I think Ole Miss is going to roll. They're going to be an extremely explosive team. Defensively, they're going to shock you with some of the guys. Again, they're a high-risk, high-reward defense. They're going to be explosive on offense. I think they're going to do some big things. It's going to start this Saturday when they host Troy.
Yeah, I agree. I think Troy's going to end up being a pretty decent team this season. You just won't know it after week 1 because I think Ole Miss is going to just roll over. I'm taking them too.
Yeah, Troy's going to be good in the Fun Belt. Jake?
Yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss, and I think they cover easily.
And Becky picks Ole Miss as well. So the game we were just heavily debating about, Utah rolls in 2.5-point favorites into the Swamp to take on the Gators. Steve, what you got?
I think Florida is going to cover in this game. I think about midway through the second quarter, the sweat's going to be rolling off the arms of the Utah players. They're not going to know what's happening, what's going on. They're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to want to be somewhere else. And Florida is going to win this game by 1 point. This has got 28-27 written all over it.
Oh, wow.
I'm rolling with the Utes, man. I've got them as a playoff team. Coming out of the Pac-12. I just think that they have experience at quarterback. They have experience at the tailback position. They have some good talent defensively. Kyle Whittingham is going to have these boys ready to play. Can they handle the humidity? Well, they'll get used to it. But I think they're going to win by a field goal. I think they're going to cover, and a field goal does it. So it's going to be a tight game, obviously, but Utah's going to come out ahead in the end. Jeb.
I'm going to be honest. When I first saw this, I was so used to seeing the SEC teams being favored that I assumed that 2.5 was actually for Florida. But I've still taken the Utah. I'm gonna stick with them anyway, just because I think they're going to be a good team this season. They're already ready to go, or at least more ready to go. I'm not as big a believer that Florida will just be put together and rolling in this game. But I don't know. I could be wrong. We'll see. Maybe some of it's biased because I just don't like Florida, but we'll see. But I'm taking Utah for now.
Yeah, I'm taking Utah. I just do not trust Anthony Richardson. If he plays all 4 quarters, it's not going to be good for Florida.
No.
So,
No.
And Billy Napier is going to be a great coach. It's just not yet.
Yeah, just this is a tough opener. I have full confidence in Billy Napier. That's not the case. And Becky is taking the Gators, which means the Willis family are Gators. All right, oars. They have a lot of oars on their roster. Oars.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Go Gators! Oh,
so I won't back down. All right, here's a line I'm not backing down from. Kentucky -16 at home as they host the Fighting Ben Roethlisbergers of Miami of Ohio. I think it's a pretty clean sweep. We all got Kentucky except for Becky. She's got Miami of Ohio to cover the spread. Becky, explain yourself in the chat. But yeah, I think it's pretty unanimous on that pick. Georgia State travels to South Carolina. -12.5, the Gamecocks. This one's a little bit tighter. This one's going to take a little bit more thinking. I think we're all on the same page. But Steve, who's your pick?
who's the game?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, fun fact.
Not Eastern Illinois.
I think the head coach at Georgia State is the guy that was the interim coach at South Carolina when Steve Spurrier left.
Yeah, Sean Elliott, yeah.
And there's
he got the Georgia State job after that, yes.
Yeah, and he's going to be ready for this game. This is going to be a debut for Spencer Rattler. I mean, I do think South Carolina is going to cover, and they're going to do what they need to do. But I expect Georgia State to play really well like they did against Auburn last year. I just don't know if they have the horses to last for 60 minutes.
Tennessee a couple of years ago. Too soon? That will never get old. Okay, so you can hit me with a Dobnail boot if you want to. South Carolina is going to get it done. They're going to ultimately cover. But I think after the first quarter, you're going to wonder two things. You're going to be like, oh, are we sure about South Carolina this year? And, okay, Georgia State's going to make some noise in the Sun Belt. And then, the second half's going to happen and South Carolina's going to pull away. But then you're going to be like, oh, okay, that's South Carolina. Yeah, we get it. Yeah. And A and B, Georgia State, yeah, they're going to do pretty good in the Sun Belt. So, but I'm taking the Gamecocks here. Jeb.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's it's going to be a lot like we were talking about with Troy. I think was it Troy? Yeah, Troy. I think they're going to be a good team looking back at their season. It's just not going to start that way.
Yeah.
Although I'm not a big fan of Spencer Rattler, but I still think he'll do all right in this game.
He's in total show me mode, but this is not the game where that's going to matter.
Yeah, and people will be talking about him being back after this game, but
yeah. If this game was maybe a 17.5-point spread, I probably would pick Georgia State. I do think South Carolina can win by 2 touchdowns and cover the spread, so I'm picking South Carolina.
And Becky's got South Carolina as well, so that makes it a clean sweep. All right, so we have Alabama hosting Utah State, the Aggies of Utah State. They come in as 41.5-point dogs to Tuscaloosa. Steve, is that spread too big for Bama to cover?
I think it is, honestly. I think 50-10 does not cover. And that is absolutely correct. Any mistake defensively, I think week 1 comes back to haunt them a little bit. It's going to be a blowout. Alabama's going to easily win this game. I just don't think they're going to beat them by 41 points.
Yeah, I had Bama slated in there because, they're Bama. But I just think this game's going to get a little stale, and they're just not going to cover the spread, and it's not really going to matter.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's going to be any judgments. Like if Bama wins this thing by 38, it's just all right. Well, Bama's ready for Texas. Here we go.
Either Utah State is good or they're not. The line says they're not. Everybody seems to think they are. One of these things is not true.
Exactly, and I think Utah State will cover, and getting blown out by 38 points still covers the spread. So that's the scary part of it. I would not touch this thing with real money, but I would say that Utah State's probably going to cover the spread. Jeb?
And last season I had a very, very poor record when I picked against Alabama to cover any spread, but I've still taken Utah State in this one because I just think they're too good of a team to get blown out that. But well, no, it could easily happen. I just don't think that'll happen the first game of the season here. Obviously, it's just a pick against the spread because Alabama's going to win easily, but that's what I think. I'm gonna pick them to cover.
Just take a money line here at this point. Jake,
yeah,
Bama can cover.
Yeah, easily. I think I said 56-7 and maybe a 56-10 game. But there's too much talent on Alabama's team, and even that second unit. I mean, Jalen Milroe ought to be starting anywhere else in the country, but he's behind Bryce Young. So I mean. Yeah. He'll get his snaps in. He's going to lead them for a couple of touchdowns as well.
Yeah, and Becky's got Utah State as well. I just think Bama's going to get bored, honestly. It's just bottom line. They're just going to get bored. Saban's going to get bored. They're going to empty the bench. It's just going to be like the JV game is going to cost Bama the spread. I mean, let's be honest with you on that.
I got one against y'all.
You can tell it's football season and we're getting there. Jake's ready to go. Line them up. Let's go. Yeah. We can cover this 60-point line. We got this.
Jake is going to do an Oklahoma drill after the show.
Let me tell you something real quick.
He's going to do an Oklahoma drill.
On our show Monday night, in the comments, we had a guy actually say he feels like this will be a 30-20 game. Now, if it's a 30-20 game, then Alabama is going to struggle the entire season. If it's that close,
that would be a bad sign.
Right. So if it does if Utah State scores 20, I don't care if they win 70-20, it's still kind of concerning.
Or that will be the only game Utah State loses all year because they're that good. You never know. Right. You never know. But probably not.
Yeah.
Right. Except when they play against Jake Hayner and Fresno State.
Fresno,
WAC football or Mountain West or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, whatever they're calling it out there. Yeah. Cassidy said for Halloween we should dress up as our head coaches. Well, apparently, according to Cassidy, I don't have to really stretch that much to dress up.
You just got to put a hat on, she said.
Just a visor.
I have a Labrador.
There we go.
What if I call him Juice for a day?
And just so we're clear, I'm not shaving.
I was going to say Jeb had to shave, and I would too.
Beard there, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd also have to get older, much older.
I would.
Much shorter.
Yeah.
How tall are you, Jake?
I'm about like 5'10".
I'm not sure if Saban can ride roller coasters. Like he couldn't go to Universal.
Yeah.
It's debatable. All right, so let's get back on track. All right, Memphis travels to Mississippi State. Mississippi State hosting. They are 15.5-point favorites against Memphis. Steve, what do you see?
I see Mississippi State rolling a little bit. I see a defensive coordinator for Memphis that's going to try to show out and play man defense against Mike Leach. And we see what teams that try to play man against Mike Leach do, what it looks like, and it's not pretty. Mississippi State wins this thing by 3-4 touchdowns.
Memphis is in a bad spot, I think. They're going this way. And I think Mississippi State's going to exploit that. I think they're going to win big. Jeb?
Yeah, no, I agree. Mississippi State, we know they can put up big points when they get rolling. And this just seems like one of those games where that's going to happen.
I mean,
Jake?
Mississippi State had Memphis handled last year, and they blew it. So, I mean, I know it was at Memphis, but I mean,
blew it.
So I mean, I think Memphis can cover. I still think Mississippi State wins, but I just think Memphis can cover that.
And Becky's got Memphis as well. I'm guessing that's just a lot of Mississippi State hatred.
I don't think Becky likes bells. Like the song Silver Bells, not her favorite Christmas carol.
What about Hell's Bells?
Oh,
Probably
She's
not.
like Hell's Bells.
Bells. For whom
She's
the
bells
bell
in general.
tolls. No.
She is
that's
not.
a great song.
Carol of the
not
Bells.
whom the bell tolls.
Oh, I love Carol of the Bells.
Jingle
too.
Bells?
Yeah,
Jingle bells, not her thing. No.
Not okay.
Yeah.
but she loves
all bells.
Mike Leach.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Jesus.
I mean,
Bell bottom
honestly, who
jeans.
doesn't?
He apparently on the teleconference today spent like 5 minutes talking about the finale of Better Call Saul.
I mean, that's about as Mike Leach as you can get it.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
not surprised at all. Yeah. Yeah, I hate those cowbells.
Yeah. Mike Espy, who played at Ole Miss, came on my show. Subtle name drop, humble brag. Came in, I asked him, I was like, what is it like for a player to play at Mississippi State with those bells? And he talked about it. It was like a humming sound, a loud humming sound. And you can hear it like 3 days after the game. And I was like, that is probably not healthy, Mike.
Yeah, that's
No. Nope.
That's probably you probably get a concussion just from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I asked Israel what his least favorite road environment was, he said it was South Carolina. Said that was his least favorite.
Let's see, who did I ask? Marsha Green. What was his favorite place to play? And it was South Carolina in 2009. He's like, that place rocked like anything. He played at LSU at night, played all over. But that South Carolina environment under Spurrier, that place was rocking. Because if we remember, that was like Connor Shaw and Marcus Lattimore and Alshon Jeffrey and those guys.
I remember that year, Georgia primetime got their ass handed to them. Anyway, so we move on. There's LSU hosting. It's a neutral
No,
site.
you're right.
Neutral site. They host Florida State -3. Steve, convince me, because we talked about this when we previewed it a little bit. Convince me that Florida State can cover this spread and can win outright. Convince me why. Tell me why.
Whenever Mike Norvell plays against an SEC defensive line, the way he runs the ball and the way it's packaged and the way they use it through their counters and different blocking schemes confuses a defensive line from time to time. And you can get a couple of big plays. And in this game, you probably need 2 big plays, 2 sustained drives, and you can win this thing 24-21.
Well, okay. All right. I just changed my pick there. That's a compelling argument. I'm taking FSU. Go Noles. All right. I think screw the talent discrepancy up front. I think that was the difference maker, but screw that. All right. It's gonna come down to Florida State kicking a game-winning field goal at the end of this thing to win it. So I'm changing my pick, changing course. Go Noles.
What if Florida State missed it wide right?
Oh,
Just that would be the most Florida State thing they could do.
I don't know. This game to me is just a toss-up. I really have no idea who's going to do
I
what
hope
here.
Florida State wins.
And that's I'm kind of rooting for Florida State too. But Florida State's been letting me down for years now, so I feel like LSU is just going to pull this one out, and people are going to be all up on Brian Kelly in his first year, thinking, "Oh, this is going to be great," and then they'll probably go on.
They just want to be part of the family.
Then when they get destroyed by Tennessee, they'll finally stop talking about them so much.
True.
My full prediction there.
I tell people all the time, everybody says Brian Kelly is not going to be a success in the SEC. And I was like, he's won every place he's gone to. He's going to win in the SEC.
And
he's
LSU is
not
not a
gonna
hard place to win.
He's just not going to beat Florida State this week.
No.
Jeb, you can Google that one. That was safe.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
That one's safe. That was safe. Okay. All right. A couple of the non-line games. A&M.
Jay
Sam
just made his
Houston.
pick.
Yeah.
Auburn.
Oh,
Jake has got four. Sorry, Jake. I thought you were on. I thought you were on the. Thought you were on the FSU train here. All right.
I am.
I knew it. And then Becky's got LSU. Becky, get with the program, all right? Florida State, come on. All right, get with the program. Go Knowles. Chief Osceola. Chief Osceola, War Chant, Jameis Winston stealing crab legs. Let's get it. Let's get going here. All right.
Jimbo Fisher not recruiting an offensive lineman for 4 years. Let's let this happen.
Come on,
but he's getting defensive lineman now.
Well, I mean, he paid $31 million for him. All right.
Yeah, better win. All right. So speaking of Jimbo, we got 3 non-line games that, let's be honest, we're all unanimous on it. A&M over Sam Houston State, Auburn hosting Mercer, and Vandy hosting Elon. It's all unanimous. We're all picking A&M, Auburn, and Vandy, so no need to talk about those.
Vandy 2-0.
Yes.
2-0. Georgia hosting at a neutral site, Oregon. They're 17-point favorites. Can they cover that spread?
Color game, by the way. Color game.
It is a color game. Georgia's wearing the classic reds.
Classic red. Oregon's wearing all green with orange face mask. Puddles the Duck is going to be on site doing all the stuff that he can require. It's going to be an absolute war. They're going to fight and go up and down the field for 60 minutes, and you're going to look up at the scoreboard at the end, and it's going to be Georgia 48, Oregon 7.
Yeah, but because they got Bo Nix, quarterback, let's be honest. They haven't named a starter yet, but we all know who it is. It's Bo Nix. Yeah, Georgia, as I said, and Israel put it best, it's going to be like the Michigan game. It's just going to be just like the Michigan game. Just total domination from the start. I mean, they can't. They're not going to be able to contain Nolan Smith. Quavius is going to have the game of his life. I think some of these new starters, some of this defensive talent that you're worried about, they all got experience last year. We played 25 guys on defense in relevant minutes.
The green and yellow is going to look good, though.
The uniforms are going to be on point. Mm-hmm. And Oregon's going to be a force in the Pac-12, just not this week.
Valedictorian summer school.
For them. This is a terrible matchup for them. So
that's the third time this show I've gotten that reference in. By the way,
I know, I love it, Steve. Steve, you've been waiting on this moment for your entire life, haven't you?
Yeah, it's every
summer.
I went to high school in Mississippi. I'm like the ultimate valedictorian of summer school.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Mississippi.
Yeah.
McGee. I went to McGee High School, boy.
By the way, the Ole Miss does this thing where former players come back for games. Chris Mangum is going to be at Ole Miss this weekend. Fun fact, when I was a sophomore and they were hazing us, Chris Mangum held me down and shaved my head.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah. I got hazed.
Yeah.
They shoved ice down my pants. Cassidy, go Dogs. I love it. And she did the red and black hearts. See, she's dedicated to it. Thanks, Cassidy.
Well, we're sorry you're not feeling well, though.
Yeah.
I think Georgia's in Alabama's fight song too, right?
Everybody's in Alabama's fight song.
Not Ole Miss.
And everybody stole it too.
Georgia Tech is. I love that. That's one of my favorite things.
I do too. I respect you for that.
Uh-huh. Just
Send
like
those yellow jackets to a watery grave.
Yeah, just like you hadn't played them in 60 years, but let's do it anyway, okay?
All right, and finally our games tomorrow night.
Hey, what about mine and Jeb's picks?
Oh, y'all are picking against Oregon? Yeah, Jeb, go ahead. Sorry. I got so excited there. Cassidy picked for you, Jake.
I didn't.
No, she didn't.
I didn't. I think she disagrees with him. No, actually, I don't know. I'm not a big believer in Oregon being in 11. I don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to be good this year, but not great. They may lose 3 or 4 games in their conference there, so I think Georgia will cover that spread. So I'm picking the Dogs.
Jake?
All right. As the only one on this panel who knows about great defenses and losing a generational talent defense like Georgia had last year, it's hard to replace them. Alabama's done it twice, and the year after has been a struggle. I'm not saying Georgia's going to win this game, but it's going to be tough. And that's no slight at Georgia, but I mean
17.
But I mean, you're replacing a lot of great talent on that defense. So I mean, Georgia will probably still win, but you know, it's going to be a closer game than what people are thinking.
Hey,
unless
Joe.
Bo Nix throws like 4 picks, which is very possible.
That's the most Bo Nix thing he could do.
4 picks, backyard football, and a 70-yard touchdown pass. That's a Bo Nix line, and you end up losing 48-7.
But I love Steve's reference. For 60 minutes, both teams are going to go down the field, and Oregon's only going to score 7. You know,
because Georgia's bend don't break. I mean, it's crazy. Like Georgia doesn't lose a whole lot of talent offensively. That's the scary part.
Yeah,
but you still got
lost George Pickens. You lost James Cook. And
did we lose George Pickens though? Really?
Yes, because he forced defenses to look at him.
He didn't play at all last year. Except
he
for
did in
like
the
2
national
games.
championship game, and if he wouldn't have played in that national championship game, it might have been different.
No, I don't know about that. We couldn't stop the run in the third and fourth quarter.
Well, no, but it might have been different.
Well, you get a Reek Gilbert,
Yeah.
and
But
you
you
get Brock
still- you
Bowers,
still got
you get Ladd
Spencer.
McConkey, you get AD
I
Mitchell, you get
want
James.
5 personnel. That's what I want.
You're probably gonna get it.
I want 5 personnel. I want to line up
05
Eric Gill in the
personnel.
backfield.
You're gonna get it. You're
I
gonna
wanna
get
line
it.
up-
05
yeah.
personnel. It's gonna be empty formation, 5 tight ends.
And you still got
You're
Stetson
gonna get
Bennett,
it.
though. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
not
Stet
sold on
Quavis,
Stetson.
man.
If
He-
Stetson Bennett didn't set up all of his NIL stuff after winning the national championship to set himself up for life, I'm done with him. Period.
You know he
Yeah.
did. He gained 15 pounds of muscle and got a tight fade and an attitude to go
Yeah,
with it.
that's true.
But what if his tight fade and attitude is like the opposite of Samson? Maybe he needed the frat boy hair.
Maybe so. I don't know. We'll find out.
Uh,
If not, we'll call in Carson Beck or Brock Vandegrift to finish the game and whatever.
Either way, it's like Stetson Bennett has really struggled today. Georgia has won by 6 touchdowns.
No, it's gonna be 48-7, and the fans have already fired Kirby Smart about 4 times.
Yeah, there's a 3rd and 12 that Oregon had no business getting. It's like Oregon's got 3 first downs in the first half. Back off.
Fire Will Muschamp.
Somehow they're firing Mike Bobo. And he's like, he's not even here. We've already gotten rid of him.
Well, he's an analyst, actually. He came back. So they can fire him. Steve, you were with me. You know how Georgia fans are.
Yeah.
We fire you quickly. And then we rehire you as soon as you score a touchdown. So
There you go. That's how every fan
okay.
base is.
Georgia's got a freaking doctorate in that. Okay, so Ball State takes on Tennessee tomorrow night as we were live on a Wednesday. Tennessee is 34.5-point favorites. Can they cover that spread? It's Ball State. Steve, do you believe it?
Yeah, I believe Tennessee. I think Tennessee might put up a 60-burger in this game. Cedric Tillman, I think he has a chance to be the GOAT at Tennessee as a wide receiver, and Brew McCoy is going to give him a little bit of relief and take some of that attention off of him, and the running game is going to be just enough. The defense is going to be a little bit better. It might be 60-21, something like that, but I think they'll cover.
I don't think Ball State's going to get 21, but Tennessee will definitely cover this thing. They're way too explosive. I mean, they covered a double-digit spread against Kentucky and only had the ball for 13 minutes. So just think what they can do against Ball State. Jeb, sorry, Vinny.
Oh my God.
No, I agree. I think Tennessee. There's been a lot of hype over the offseason about the offense. I think they're going to come out fast, just try and prove it, put up a bunch of points on this team. It's really just practice, getting ready for Pitt next week. So we'll see.
Jake,
They'll cover.
Yeah, I think Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to cover and cover easily. That offense is going to be explosive. Hendon Hooker is going to prove that he deserves. He belongs in this league. I mean, he may be the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in the league right now. So.
all right, and Becky's gonna make it a clean sweep for the Vols. Hey, Paul, I'm hang up and listen. All right, last and probably least, Missouri comes in 19 and a half point favorites as they host Louisiana Tech. Steve, can they cover?
Well, you know, anytime you're dealing with the machine that is Missouri, that you have to – I'm sorry, I can't even say that with a straight face, can I? No, I think they're going to cover, but I think this is more of a situation of Louisiana Tech having to replace a quarterback maybe, or, you know, there may not be there.
A whole slew of issues themselves.
Yeah, and all of that's going to help out Missouri, and they're going to run the ball. I think the quarterback is going to be better than we think. Everybody, you know, we were in love with Connor Bazelak last year. Maybe this guy is just as good, you know, but now Connor Bazelak is now going to Indiana. So, you know, maybe we can check out some Big Ten football and see what Connor Bazelak is up to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this might be one of the few games that Missouri can actually cover. I think Brady Cook's going to be pretty good. They just don't have any weapons around them. This game is going to be more of what Louisiana Tech doesn't have. They're picked to finish almost DFL if it weren't for MTSU. If it weren't for MTSU, Louisiana Tech would be dead. You know what I mean? Dead last.
I really thought you said DTF.
Oh my God!
No, D.
Well, we know where Steve's good.
Dead effing last. Steve is definitely off the rails.
And I'm the one that said in picks be clean.
I know, right?
So they want to drive to Louisiana.
Steve, before the show, all right, guys, we got to make picks clean. We got to have a definitive start. And then let's go. Right, we're ready. Hey, did you say DTF? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's our picks, folks. That's our picks. Jeb. Jeb.
Jeb and Jake.
We still picking here? Okay.
We're still picking here. We're still picking.
Now, look, I just don't know that much about Louisiana Tech. Missouri's a mess. I'm sure they're a mess, too. Missouri being a mess is not –
well, Steve thinks
going to prevent them from winning.
We're
and you know, do what they have to do. But it's not going to prevent them from winning. I just think Louisiana Tech may be able to cover this game. So I picked them to cover.
Jake?
I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. This is gonna be the first game since I think it was in 2010 or 2012 when might have been 2008 when Auburn and Mississippi State went 3-2. You know, it was a 3-2 ball game. I can see that being that this year. Yeah, I can see that being something like this because both teams are garbage, and
both teams aren't going to score enough to cover a 19.5 point spread.
Yeah, so I'm taking La Tech.
There may not be 19 points between them.
No, they might not.
Both teams are like me in high school.
Can't score. God, you set that up on a tee. Becky's got Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Can't score.
Oh, thank you, Becky. Thank you. She said me and Jeb's not getting no respect.
Rodney Dangerfield down there.
Guess who's going to pick first next week, Becky? Okay.
Oh, good.
Jeb and Jake.
It's gonna be Jake.
Start at the bottom, work our way up.
Yeah.
Jake's gonna be picking first next week. So.
Jeb, that is a factual statement.
Shut up.
Jeb, you can Google that. All right. You can Google that. It's Googleable. All right. Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for us here on SEC After Dark. We hope you had fun. Week 1 is upon us. If you are a Vols fan, go Vols. They play Ball State tomorrow. They kick this thing off, man. It's going to be fun. We hope your team wins, unless you're a Gator. Just kidding. My principal's a Gator, and he said go Ducks, so I have no sympathy. So we are.
Oregon's mascot is Donald Duck. It's literally Donald Duck
with a green shirt.
Yeah, and a green sailor hat.
And he does push-ups after every touchdown.
Yeah, it's one of the most buff, in-shape mascots in college football.
Yeah.
When Marcus Mariota was scoring 60 a game, he's sitting there having to do all those push-ups.
I don't know. Kansas State's mascot's pretty buff because it's got the human arms.
Yeah,
that's right.
that Kansas State creased me out.
Yeah, it is kind of creepy.
It is
Hell,
creepy.
the cornhuskers
We got to
creeps
do
me
it.
out.
We got to do a mascot check on them. See if they've updated that thing.
Oh, by the way, before we get out of here, we had a debate on my Locked On group chat, and it was about 30 minutes about whether Superman was a Kansas fan or a Kansas State fan.
Oh,
That's a
Smallville.
good question. Yeah.
Yeah, well, all the movies, just going back and forth, and we landed on somebody found a screenshot from the Superman movie of Henry Cavill wearing a Kansas Jayhawk shirt watching a football game. So
Nice.
Superman was a Kansas fan.
Okay.
Well, of course, his colors were.
Yeah, somebody did say, "Look at his suit," and I was like, "Oh yeah."
He's not purple and silver.
Oh, hey, they used to have yellow on the suit. Remember when he had the underoos?
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's not wearing a Darren Sproles jersey out there flying around. I'll tell you that much.
Well, you have to earn that.
Unfortunately, Kansas just don't have any kryptonite. So
They just
All right,
just
guys.
Kansas State apparently. All right, we are SEC After Dark. Find us on social media. You can find Jake Tide Talk Live. You can find me at Bleav In Dogs. We're live every Sunday night. Israel and I at Coach Burton 36 at Bleav In Dogs on all platforms. You can find Steve elsewhere on Locked On Ole Miss. Jeb, we need to get you a second show just so you can fit in.
To start a weekly show of something.
Yeah, Jake,
The
you still
Jeb
doing a
Talk
video game
Hour.
show?
I'm doing that, and Best of the West is making a return tomorrow night, boys. So
All right.
you're coming back tomorrow night.
And
Yep.
unfortunately, due to our schedules, Beast of the East is on the shelf for now. But you can also find me on Illegal Motion as well. I cover. I'm the SEC guru. I educate couple Big Ten guys on the greatest conference and college football there. SEC. All right. So Becky is on the producer role. So we thank you, Becky. Cassidy
Thank
is
you, Becky.
co-producer.
Yep. Thank you, Cass.
And she's our uniform coordinator apparently. So she's going to tell us what to wear each and every week. We thank you for that, Cassidy. And we will see you back here next week. We'll see how our picks do. We'll see how those Utes fare in Florida. And we will see you back here next week. We are SEC After Dark. So long. See you later. And of course, as always, go Dogs.
Our night.
Roll Tide.
Vols.
Don't embarrass
Go
us,
Vols,
Jeb.
Paul.
You know,
I'm just so happy football's back.
If y'all lose,
man.
Oh God. If we lose, I'm probably not doing this show next week. Just so you know.
you're gonna be in tears all week. Big giant.
Jeb's just come back. Jeb's going to come back wearing a Georgia jersey next week.
Yeah.
Like, man, the guy's
He'll be wearing
I
a
can't do
Titans
it anymore.
jersey because if they lose and his